Zebulun, he's the guy with the boats. He's got speedboats. Yeah, let's get him. And Dan, he's a little serpent. Hello, I'm Dan. He's just a little bit like snakish, and he like nips at heels. I don't know. Hey, welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I read the Bible so you don't have to, and we are almost done the book of Genesis. We're about to move into Exodus. I really can't hardly wait. I can't wait to see what happens next. We're here for the penultimate chapter of Genesis. That's right. I do know the word penultimate, but I spaced on the word chapter. It's just like so smart and so dumb at the same time. Could that be like the Bible? I feel like is the Bible so smart and so dumb at the same time? I just wonder if it's smart. I wonder if it gets so smart at some point. Well, Jacob's dying and Joseph is getting stuff. We're finishing the Joseph story when it's already done. And this is just the Bible again, getting a little bit more. They're selling a few more comics. You know what I mean? Like I don't know that much about the comic thing, but I can only imagine that you go, well, that story's over. I don't think we need another book with just like an epilogue, an addendum, or something like that. Like we don't. Okay, all right. Well, I'll read another one, but I would like something new. But anyway, that's how I'm feeling about this. Guys, subscribe. Ring that bell so an angel gets its wings. And it's not Christmas. It's actually beautiful weather out there these days. Like the video, please like the video, and leave a comment, just commenting on something that's gone on here. I don't know what, but leave a comment. I always respond to all the comments. People don't realize that. Let's get into it. Genesis chapter 49. Then Jacob called his 4 sons and said, "Gather around so I can tell you what will happen to you in the days to come." Jacob just became a country boy. I think it was the gather around. I've been doing him as the old man, but this is a lot of text, so we're going to do it as an old man telling his kids what's going to happen. "Assemble and listen, sons of Jacob. Listen to your father Israel." That's right, I got 2 names. How many names do you have? How many names do you have? 1? Right, because I gave you a name, but God ain't giving you no name. God gave me a name after I beat him. Yeah, that's right, I beat him up in the desert. I wrestled him, and he could not overpower me. But you know my limp. I did get that day. "Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, the first sign of my strength, my strength." You know what I mean? Like the strength that, my strength, baby. "You're the first sign that I was able to procreate. Excelling in honor, excelling in power, turbulent as the waters, you will no longer excel. Sorry, for you went up onto your father's bed, onto my couch, and defiled it." I am happy about this. Reuben's cool and everything, but he did sleep with Bilhah. And finally, Jacob's like, no, I don't like it. Sorry, I didn't like it. I know at the time I didn't say anything, and I acted like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, sleep with my concubine. I'm done with her. I mean, you were my original strength, and I've strengthed a lot on her, but you know what? Yeah, go ahead. You sleep with her. But now he's like, you're not excelling anymore. I'm going to give you a little bit of a curse. And that's fair, because we've seen curses happen earlier that they were not fair. Like there was nothing, they didn't, you walk in, you see your dad nude. It's not, you shouldn't be cursed. But in this case, fair enough, Jacob. "Simeon and Levi are brothers. Their swords are weapons of violence. Let me not enter their council, and let me not join their assembly. For they have killed men in their anger and hamstrung oxen as they pleased." they're cutting the hamstring of the oxen, and the oxen going, ow, ow, why would you do that to me? I'm just helping. You're helping the wrong guy. Take the oxen. Don't hamstring them.
Cursed be their anger so fierce, and their fury so cruel. I will scatter them in Jacob and disperse them in Israel.
So now the land is also called Israel and Jacob? Is that what you're telling me? It's like, oh yeah, no, they're interchangeable words now. Welcome to Israel / Jacob.
Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub. O Judah, you return from the prey, my son. Like a lion, he crouches and lies down. Like a lioness, who dares to rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he comes to whom it belongs, and the obedience of the nations is his. He will tether his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. He will wash his garments in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes will be darker than wine, and his teeth whiter than milk.
What? Sorry, Israel, you lost me there. Tethering donkeys to the vine. Okay, the vine's not that strong, but he can actually tether his colt to the choicest branch. It's like, so he can find really good branches, or the best branches will be available to him. Cool. No one else will take those branches. Fine. That's a decent blessing, I suppose, for the time. But do you really want to wash your garments in wine?
If you use elastics, it will be tie-dye. You can tie-dye it. It'll be staining it with the blood of grapes, but you can tie-dye it, and it's actually really cool when you're looking at it. You're like, whoa, dude,
You're not going to have white clothes. Everything's going to be a little bit purple, I dare say. I feel like this is a continuation of the propaganda. Certain brothers aren't going to get very much out of the deal, and other brothers are. So Judah, we like, we don't like Reuben. We don't like, those other ones. But I wonder if whoever was writing this and the people that were writing this, during that time, Judah was like, Judah was one of the tribes that was working out a little bit more. You know what I mean? And the other ones were like, do we even know where the Reuben tribe is? But we'll see what happens because we have a lot more book to go.
Zebulun, you will be the seashore and become a haven for the ships. His border will extend towards Sidon. Issachar is a raw-boned donkey lying down between two saddlebags. When he sees how good is his resting place and how pleasant is his land, he will bend his shoulders to the burden and submit to forced labor.
Forced labor? Issachar, are you a slave? They're allowed to have Hebrew indentured servants. Is Issachar where they're getting their indentured servants from? I wouldn't be surprised. This could be some foreshadowing to poor Issachar.
Dan will provide justice for his people. As one of the tribes of Israel, Dan will be a serpent by the roadside, a viper along the path that bites the horse's heels, and so its rider tumbles backwards.
Some of these blessings aren't so much blessings, but they're saying like this is what will come. Jacob must be a prophet, like he knows the future. God's telling him what's going to happen. Dan, he's going to do okay, but he's also going to be a little bit of a viper.
I look for your deliverance, O Lord. Gad will be attacked by a band of raiders, but he will attack them at their heels. Similar to Dan being the snake, but with the horses, but this is a bit different. because it is very different. It is very creative. It is different and it is creative. But only so many things can happen here in the Middle East, I dare say. Asher's food will be rich. He will provide delicacies fit for a king.
So he's going to be the baker. They're kind of like Issachar's the slave. Dan is like the serpent. Gad is going to be attacked. Asher's going to be the chef, like...
Naphtali is the dough set free that bears beautiful fawns. Joseph is a fruitful vine near a spring, whose branches climb over the wall. With bitterness, archers attack him. They shot at him with hostility, but his bow remained steady. His strong arm stayed limber because of the hand of the mighty one of Jacob, because of the shepherd, the rock of Israel, because of your father's God who helps you, because of the Almighty who blesses you. With blessings of the heavens above, blessings of the deep that lies below, blessings of the breast of the womb.
This seems like Jacob really retelling sort of the story of Joseph that we already went through. Like, these things kind of happened, but you stayed strong and things were okay with you because of God, because you were in God's hand. And this is also the first time that we get a capitalized shepherd. God is referred to as a shepherd. These are just, again, different terms. He's also the rock now. I think we've already seen Almighty, but it's just interesting that different terms for God, different ideas for God creep in without any sort of like explanation. Okay, he's a shepherd. Okay, all right, it's just metaphor, it's poetry, it's pretty.
Your father's blessings are greater than the blessings of the ancient mountains, than the bounty of the age-old hills. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours the prey. In the evening he divides the plunder.
That's interesting, that Benjamin, because he's the youngest, you think that he'd be like,
oh, and he's a soft little boy. I love my little one. He's just a cute little kitten. That's my little boy. That's my favorite. If Joseph wasn't here, he'd be my favorite. I love that little boy.
But he doesn't say that. He says he's a ravenous wolf. So everyone's got their thing. Like, if there was a show that Joseph and his brothers, it could be called
Israel 12
or something like that. They would all have their like separate things. Like Zebulun, he's the guy with the boats. He's got speedboats. Yeah, let's get him. And Dan, he's a little serpent. Hello, I'm Dan. He's just a little bit like snakish, and he like nips at heels. I don't know. Benjamin, the wolf, and he turns into a wolf. Maybe that's the other thing. Like Zebulun can turn into like some sort of water character. Issachar turns into a donkey. Dan turns into the snake. Gad, whatever. He just sucks. Asher's just like, I'm here making pancakes for when you guys come back. It's a cartoon. So there's going to have some fun moments like that. And of course, Joseph is the big guy. He's got big, strong arms. He's like, you guys, stop messing around. That would be a great show. Actually, I shouldn't put this in the episode because someone's going to make that show and they're not going to give me the credit. And I'm not going to get the billions of dollars that this show, Israel's 12, is going to make. It's a feature presentation. Could be a feature presentation. And by the way, modern day, not Bible Times Day, because that would suck. Because you wouldn't be able to have speedboats. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is what their father said to them when he blessed them, giving each the blessing appropriate to him. Then he gave them these instructions.
I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, the cave of the field of Machpelah, near Mamre in Canaan, which Abraham bought as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite, along with the field. There Abraham and his wife Sarah were buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah were buried. And there I buried Leah. There I buried Leah. The field and the cave in it were bought from the Hittites. We did not take it. There was no charity there. We did not at all accept any gifts in that moment. It was paid for fair and square. All right. When Jacob had finished giving his instructions to his sons, he drew his feet up onto the bed and breathed his last and was gathered to his people. Bye. Bye, Jacob. Bye, Israel. Have a good one. You know what? I didn't hate Jacob. I thought Jacob was actually pretty cool. I think a lot of the things that Jacob went through were kind of like sort of redundant when it comes to the promising stuff. Jacob's ladder, the wrestling thing. It's just kind of like, ugh, yeah, whatever. You're going to have tons of descendants, and here's another indicator of that. Thanks. And then here, this is just all sort of like, okay, great, nice. Your kids' futures, your kids are going to have futures. Nice, great, it's cool. So we'll see what happens with these 12 tribes, because the 12 tribes of Israel are the main characters now. I think we're going to see their story unfold. Next time is the final chapter of Genesis. And then I'll do a Genesis recap, and we'll be off to Exodus. And I'm really excited to see what happens. But we will see you next time for chapter 50. Until we get there, have a beautiful, beautiful day.